Hello! Welcome to the Study With Me series of Law School Buddy. I have prepared audiobook materials following the syllabus of the Philippine bar exams dedicated to our law school students. I hope that this audiobook can help with your study and review. Let's begin. This episode will cover Chapter 2, Regulation of Recruitment and Placement Activities. Article 25, Private Sector Participation in the Recruitment and Placement of Workers. Pursuant to national development objectives, and in order to harness and maximize the use of private sector resources and initiative in the development and implementation of a comprehensive employment program, the private employment sector shall participate in the recruitment and placement of workers, locally and overseas, under such guidelines, rules, and regulations as may be issued by the Secretary of Labor. Article 26. Travel agencies prohibited to recruit. Travel agencies and sales agencies of airline companies are prohibited from engaging in the business of recruitment and placement of workers for overseas employment, whether for profit or not. Article 27. Citizenship requirement. Only Filipino citizens or corporations, partnerships or entities, at least 75% of the authorized and voting capital stock, of which is owned and controlled by Filipino citizens, shall be permitted to participate in the recruitment and placement of workers, locally or overseas. Article 28. Capitalization. All applicants for authority to hire or renewal of license to recruit are required to have such substantial capitalization as determined by the Secretary of Labor. Article 29. Non-transferability of license or authority. No license or authority shall be used directly or indirectly by any person other than the one in whose favor it was issued, or at any place other than that stated in the license or authority be transferred, conveyed or assigned to any other person or entity. Any transfer of business address, appointment or designation of any agent or representative, including the establishment of additional offices anywhere, shall be subject to the prior approval of the Department of Labor. Article 30. Registration fees. The Secretary of Labor shall promulgate a schedule of fees for the registration of all applicants for license or authority. Article 31. Bonds. All applicants for license or authority shall post such cash and surety bonds as determined by the Secretary of Labor to guarantee compliance with prescribed recruitment procedures, rules, and regulations, and terms and conditions of employment, as may be appropriate. Article 32. Fees to be paid by workers. Any person applying with a private fee-charging employment agency for employment assistance shall not be charged any fee until he has obtained employment through its efforts or has actually commenced employment. Such fee shall be always covered with the appropriate receipt, clearly showing the amount paid. The Secretary of Labor shall promulgate a schedule of allowable fees. Article 33. Reports on employment status. Whenever the public interest requires, the Secretary of Labor may direct all persons or entities within the coverage of this title to submit a report on the status of employment, including job vacancies, details of job requisitions, separation from jobs, wages, other terms and conditions, and other employment data. Article 34. Prohibited practices. It shall be unlawful for any individual, entity, licensee, or holder of authority to charge or accept, directly or indirectly, any amount greater than that specified in the schedule of allowable fees prescribed by the Secretary of Labor, or to make a worker pay any amount greater than that actually received by him as a loan or advance, to furnish or publish any false notice or information or document in relation to recruitment or employment, to give any false notice, testimony, information or document, or commit any act of misrepresentation for the purpose of securing a license or authority under this code, to induce or attempt to induce a worker already employed to quit his employment in order to offer him to another, unless the transfer is designed to liberate the worker from oppressive terms and conditions of employment, to influence or to attempt to influence any person or entity, not to employ any worker who has not applied for employment through his agency, to engage in the recruitment or placement of workers in jobs harmful to public health or morality or to the dignity of the Republic of the Philippines, to obstruct or attempt to obstruct inspection by the Secretary of Labor or by his duly authorized representatives, to fail to file reports on the status of employment, placement vacancies, remittance of foreign exchange earnings, separation from jobs, departures, and such other matters or information as may be required by the Secretary of Labor, to substitute or alter employment contracts approved and verified by the Department of Labor from the time of actual signing thereof by the parties, up to and including the periods of expiration of the same, without the approval of the Secretary of Labor, to become an officer or member of the board of any corporation engaged in travel agency, or to be engaged directly or indirectly in the management of a travel agency, and to withhold or deny travel documents from applicant workers before departure for monetary or financial considerations other than those authorized under this code and its implementing rules and regulations. Article 35. Suspension and/or cancellation of license or authority. The Minister of Labor shall have the power to suspend or cancel any license or authority to recruit employees for overseas employment for violation of rules and regulations issued by the Ministry of Labor, the Overseas Employment Development Board, or for violation of the provisions of this and other applicable laws, general orders, and letters of instructions. And that is the end. If this audiobook has helped you, please comment down below and like and share our video to someone who might need it. Thank you so much for making us your law school buddy.